Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Sad news and dangerous news. Gonzalo Lira is dead, and his family said that he died in a prison, in a Ukrainian prison. They also say that he was tortured, and therefore he died. Sad news, but in times of this kind, telling the truth is a revolutionary act, it seems, right? George Orwell. So I have this article from Russia Today, and I will go over it, and we're going to discuss dangerous news, dangerous situation for people who have an opinion or say, things out loud. Now, I don't infer, because I don't know exactly what happened, that the Ukrainians did something to him. But imagine if Whalen or Brittany Griner, the basketball player, or Gershkovich would perish in a Russian prison. Or, oy vey, even if Navalny, the so-called Putin's critic, Putin's opposition leader, he would perish. He's still alive in a Russian penitentiary. So let's look over this article right here. It is from today, the 12th of January 2024, 5:54 p.m. Russia Today. U.S. journalist jailed and tortured by Ukraine has died. This is Gonzalo Lira, and I'm going to read the subtitle. Gonzalo Lira's relatives have blamed his death on Washington and Kiev. So here he is. Let me just make it a little bit bigger here. All right. So this person is a 55-year-old man who went to Ukraine and started reporting from there. He had at least one channel that I know of on YouTube. From time to time, I, checked him out. Not many times, but nevertheless, he was arrested, released, arrested again, and then released again. Supposedly he had to show up in court, and now I haven't heard from him, not personally, but any news about him for about, 1 or 2 months, 2 months, more than that. These guys arrested him, and they did probably something bad. Now remember, if these guys would be the Russians or anybody else, the Americans, remember, this is a American citizen, okay? Is not a, Chinese or something that these guys pretend that they close their eyes. So let's go back to the article. Chilean-American blogger Gonzalo Lira has died in a Ukrainian prison, his family said on Friday. Lira, 55 at the time of his death, lived in Kharkov and blogged as Coach Red Pill, but switched to YouTube commentary after the conflict with Russia escalated in February 2022. He was arrested by the Security Service of Ukraine, SBU, last May and accused of discrediting the Ukrainian leadership and the military. So let's see where that Kharkiv is located, shall we? And here is the map of Ukraine. Kharkiv is right here in the east, right here. That's Kharkov or Kharkiv. This is where he lived for a while, in this area here. And I'm quoting, "I cannot accept the way my son has died. He was tortured, extorted, incommunicado for 8 months and 11 days, and the US Embassy did nothing to help my son. The responsibility of this tragedy is a dictator Zelensky with the concurrence of a senile American president, Joe Biden," end quote. His father, Gonzalo Lira Sr., wrote in a note published by the Gray Zone. Lira Sr. also reached out to ex-host Tucker Carlson, confirming the death of his son in Ukrainian custody. He had spoken to Carlson about the case in early December. Lira resurfaced from custody in late July with a series of posts revealing his torture in jail and attempts by the SBU to extort him for money. He said he was trying to flee to Hungary and seek asylum. Either, and I'm quoting, either I'll cross the border and make it to safety, or I'll be disappeared by the Kiev regime, he wrote in his last public message. 2 days later, a source confirmed to Russia Today that Lira has been caught and imprisoned by Ukrainian authorities. According to a handwritten note Lira's sister received on January 4th, provided to the Gray Zone by her father, Gonzalo Lira Jr., had served health problems caused by pneumonia and collapsed lung, which began in mid-October. Ukrainian prison authorities only acknowledged the issue on December 22 and stated he would undergo surgery. And this is the note right here, if you care to read it. Okay, pneumonia and all that. Following his father's appearance on Carson's show, ex-owner Elon Musk personally inquired about Lira's case with both US President Joe Biden and Ukrainian leader Zelensky, apparently to no effect. Lira was a national of both US and Chile. That means he was a US citizen. According to his thread from last July, the Chilean embassy in Kiev at least tried to help him, while the US mission gave him only empty promises, end quote. Lira suggested that this was because Victoria Nuland, currently the acting deputy to Secretary of State Antony Blinken, hated him personally. Well, what do you think? Is it possible? Yes, very possible. Probable? Yeah, very probable. Remember, the Ukrainians, the SBU, killed other two media personalities. One, remember the blogger in St. Petersburg, blown that cafe out. And then the other one was Daria Dugina, the daughter of Alexander Dugin, blown up in Moscow. And these guys celebrated. And the mass media in the West kept its mouth shut. Why? Because it was not them. That's why. Seems like, what is this? What world are we living? The same one. It's just that these things are going to be appearing more often to our attention. Now, he was a blogger. What did he do? He was arrested and imprisoned and tortured, according to his relatives and he himself. Now, am I a blogger? Now, it's okay. We don't care about this. We knew beforehand that things like this could happen. Unfortunately, he was right over there. I don't think these guys are going to pull a Mossad job on us and come over and kidnap us and take us to Kiev. And besides, I don't think we are, some of us, at least I can speak in my name, that important. But if I am, here's the badge right here. Why? Because I'm telling the truth. The way I see it. Now, if some people come and point to me that, hey, you might be wrong here, I'm going to look into it. And if I see that I can adjust the angle, because yes, that's right, I missed that one, I will do it. But do you deserve to die like that, like a dog? And now let's go to the US administration. What kind of people are these? Now, let's say you travel to Europe and these guys abduct you over there. What certainty you have that they will not let you rotten in prison like Whalen is doing right now? Remember him? And he was supposed to be exchanged with Brittany Griner, the basketball hoop. She was taken with the Merchant of Death, Victor Baud. Ooh. And he's still there. He was a Marine. She wasn't. She was a basketball player with a wife, and so on. What can you do? And more and more and more. My friends. And he's still over there. And then we get Gerkovich. I'm not going to infer anything, but I'm predicting that Gerkovich will get out because Gerkovich is the same as Nuland, is the same as Zelensky Stein, the same as Blinken, the same, anyway, you know what I mean. So here he is, dead. Now, people who might be criticizing or telling the truth, what should they think about this? Your government doesn't care. Seems to me. Secondly, those guys with impunity killed this guy. Now, if this would have happened in Russia, I don't want to hear ever again, any of you or any of these guys saying, oh, Putin kills his critics and they die in prison or in mysterious ways. I still don't know, to be honest, straight. And I'm not wishing that to happen. Let's make it clear. How Navalny is still alive in a Russian prison where we are told that he is the most important opposition danger to Putin. And Putin still lets him be alive. And he has access to Twitter or to interviews, to phone calls. How is that possible? And they tell me, oh, he's in a gulag. He ain't in any gulag. I'm not saying he's having a good life whatsoever. But you know how the gulag is? Why don't you read the Gulag Archipelago of Solzhenitsyn, Alexander Solzhenitsyn? Read that and see how it was. Gulag. Prison, rough? Yeah, go to Mexico and see how nice is over there. Anyway, it doesn't mean that if they're both bad, that's a good thing. No, but... And he's still alive. And this guy was killed in prison by a regime that we gave together, supposedly they gave in our name $200 billion? And we support that regime? Your buddy, Sunak went over there and he signed a deal with Zelensky with support 10 years. I think he's still there right now. One of them called guarantees and the other one security guarantees, the other one security assurance. They couldn't figure out. So they're on the same podium and Zelensky said security guarantees and the other guys, no, security assurances. For 10 years, $3.5 billion or something. Military aid. What's going on? And this guy dies like a... For what? For what? You know exactly for what. That means people like him, I'm not saying I'm one of them, people like him could end up in the same way if they go to Ukraine or if they report the news differently than these guys want you to report it. And when is the US mass media? I want to see that. I'm going to look for articles to see if they're going to cover this. Russia Today covers it? Russia Today. The guys who don't tell the truth. Oh yeah, but they had an interest. He was a US citizen. Our media should have been on the watch and tell, hey, our government did not do squat for a US citizen. You want to call him blogger? That's fine. If you want to call him free speech personality, you can want to call him a journalist, because I couldn't figure out the journalist. You can call him, but still, it's your citizen. They didn't do shit. It seems like they were like, so this is the country we live. That's why when people ask me, are you not afraid that, man, I'm 60% certain, that's how it was, 6 out of 10, that one day I will hear people at my door, people want to talk to me from the authorities. I have no doubt. It didn't happen yet, but I'm expecting that. 6, maybe 7 out of 10. I'm not paranoid or thinking that I'm so important, but I know other cases. I know other people that were checked by these guys for even less than I possibly do to them, which is talk in this case. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.